welcome back to my channel and welcome to the second episode of the Lateral Work series, where in this episode I'm going to be showing you how to teach your horses to move away from pressure. So this is really important before we go on to do any of the leg yield exercises or any of the shoulder in exercises, traverse, etc, all the way up the levels. We first must teach them to move away from pressure. As always, these videos are completely free to you guys. All I ask is that you maybe share it with a friend, subscribe to the YouTube channel or like the Facebook page. Anyway, we'll crack on. So what we're going to do in this episode is show you how to get your horses to step away when we're putting pressure on. Now, just the same as the in-hand work, when we was tapping our horses with the whip, as you will have seen in episode 1, we was tapping our horses and then they were stepping away from pressure. You are going to do exactly the same thing whilst being on the horse. So we're just going to convert that information, what we taught them on the ground, to what we are doing when we're riding them. Now, Sonny doesn't like being ridden with a whip, so I can't show you how I do that with him, but I can show you exactly the same thing we do with the leg. So with the whip, we tap, 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 and they step away. You're going to do just the same thing. Pressure and release. You're going to put pressure on. When they move away from pressure, you are going to release. This tells your horse that they did the correct thing, and they're going to be quite happy then to carry on and progress from that and go further up the levels and go into the harder lateral movements. So the first thing I'm going to get him to do is actually the turn on the forehand. Now, I think this is a really underrated exercise. The turn on the forehand is one of the first lateral movements we teach them, and you can do so many different exercises with the turn on the forehand, which I'm going to show you now. So I am going to work Sonny in a little bit of a box. So I'll just walk him up the school a little bit. Good boy, don't be scared. So if I stand here, whoop, I am going to get him to do a turn on the forehand so that we're facing the other end of our box. And I'm going to do that by using the pressure. So I'm going to put pressure with my left leg and try to not let him move forward. The second he moves away from the pressure on my left leg, I am going to release that pressure and move him forward. So that will be a release. So I hold my reins, I put pressure, 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 release. Pressure, pressure, release. Good. And he has just moved sideways to face the other direction. So now I'm going to walk forward to the other end of my imaginary box. Now I'm going to stand, pressure on the left leg, release, pressure on the left leg, release, pressure on the left leg, release. And he goes sideways, a little bit backwards, but that's fine. I'll just get him to step forwards, stand, pressure, release, pressure, release until he steps sideways. Good boy. I'll just show you on the other rein as well. Walk him up the school a bit. You should see from this angle now I'm going to use my right leg. So this leg, pressure, release, pressure, release, pressure, release. Good boy. So he knows that he's doing the right thing. Stand, pressure, pressure, release. Good, and walk forward. Now I like to do this exercise on a box because you're going to keep them thinking forward. It's very important that we don't just do all of this stationary, because then they get a little bit backwards thinking and they start to step backwards, which is what he did earlier. Now, in any kind of dressage, you don't want them to think backwards, you must keep thinking forwards. So by doing this exercise, we're going to keep him moving forwards. Now I'm going to progress onto what I like to call a walking turn on the forehand. So I'm going to try and keep the front end moving whilst doing the turn on the forehand. Very nicely done, Sonny. So I walk to the next part of my box, I slow the front end down and I push the quarter sideways. Walk to the next part of my box, don't stop, just slow down, push the leg on, push him sideways. Good boy. Walk to the next part of my box, slow him down, right leg on, push him sideways. Good boy, well done. And pat, good. So once your horses are accustomed to that exercise, now don't progress on to the next exercise unless you absolutely know they can do that really easy. But what we can do then is do what I like to call a leg yield down the wall. So we're going to do this before teaching them to do a proper leg yield where they go sideways off the track to the track, and we're going to do this by pushing them down the wall sideways. Now this is going to help you keep them straight as well as teaching them about their quarters, and we can also throw in that little turn on the forehand exercise. So I'm going to park him, steady, by the wall. On about a 45-degree angle. Now what I'm going to do as a rider is try and get him to step sideways down the wall. Now the same way that we asked for the turn on the forehand, we put pressure on the leg and let him move sideways. This time I'm going to keep him travelling forward. So I put my right leg back, asked to move sideways and forwards, sideways and forwards, sideways and forwards, until I'm walking down the wall on an angle. Now when I get here, I'm going to ask him to stand and do that turn on the forehand we started with until I'm facing the other way. Good. There we go. And then stand. So now what I'm going to do is the exact same thing, but on the other rein. So my left leg's going to come back and I'm going to move him down the wall. Now again, very important, we don't forget our opposite rein. Do not just hold on to the left rein at this point, because all he'll do is move out of his shoulder, not actually do the lateral work. So I'm going to explain that to you once more. When you're asking them to move sideways down the wall, you must keep control of your new outside rein. So if I just hold my right rein, look, it doesn't work. And he gets very upset. So you need to make sure he's equal in both reins. So I stand, I have him in both of my reins, so my left rein as well, not just my right rein, and then I push him down the wall. And he's much happier doing it like that. Good boy. So once you can do that, we can do it in the trot, hopefully. Hold on. I'm going to park him against the wall, and I'm going to push him sideways. Good. Good. And again against this side of the wall. I'm going to get my angle and I'm going to push him sideways down the wall. Good, good. Keeping the head and neck parallel at all times. Do not have too much bend one way or the other. Have a look at the head, shoulders, ears and make them parallel as you move down the wall. Good. Good boy. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope you understand what I was trying to say. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this video is, 1, keep your horses parallel. When you are moving down that wall, do not let them bend one way or bend the other. Try to keep them straight in front of you, because of course that is how we do a true leg yield. The second thing I want you to take away from this is you must release the pressure when they have done something correctly. Don't just keep kicking them and expect them to accept that. Put the pressure on, release it, put the pressure on, release it, and then your horses will learn much quicker. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Facebook page, and I will see you for the next one.